a guy who got called out for lack of effort here. Deonte Banks. Like, not the guy you want having a lack of effort. Not that you want
Yeah.
anybody on your roster having a lack of effort. Don't get me wrong. But your number one corner, your first round pick from the previous season, is one of the last people you want to see be a guy called out for lack of effort. That's bad. But he definitely appeared to be taking off plays late in the game. The most obvious one, there was a big scramble, and it was Matthew Adams, the usual special teamer who happened to be on defense, ran right up the middle and was unblocked and got right to Hurts. Hurts got out of it and went for a scramble. And when he did that, Deonte Banks seemed to kind of slow down as he got closer to him, like trying to avoid the hit. And that's the big obvious one. There's a couple other plays as well. You can question it, but I hate to question some people's work ethic on specific plays because it's hard to do that on each individual play because you don't know what they were supposed to be doing in that play. But that one was so blatantly obvious, it's not even funny. You rewatch it, it's so blatantly obvious. And, Dable was asked about it. He said, we'll take a look at all that stuff, and whatever we need to address, we'll address. But the guys are putting an effort into it each and every week. We're just unfortunately not getting the results. It's a results business. He says, I'm not going to get into the silent or coaching part of it, but none of it was good enough today. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. I mean, I get why he's dodging the question. I really do. But I feel like this is a potential turning point for Dable this season. This is the first time you had a player not willing to play hard for Dable. I mean, there was the questions on Adoree Jackson last year, too, as well. But Adoree Jackson's always been a very iffy effort as far as run tackling and stuff like that. I mean,
you knew that when you got
call him out, but yeah, we're going to call it out like it is. Banks hadn't been up until now. That's the difference. And if you let somebody start getting that kind of lack of effort to be an accepted thing that happens, that can spread throughout your team really quickly, guys.
That's bonfire
really
right
quickly.
there.
Yeah, like you do not want that kind of bonfire, guys. That is not the one you're making s'mores on. That's the one you're getting pink slips on.
Yes.
And that's the first time I've said pink slip and Brian Dable on the show, which tells you a lot about how much I think that's that major of a move.
But let's not jump the gun yet and get crazy.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying that's the kind of thing that if it starts to spread, then that does happen. Because you can look past a bad team not winning when the effort is there, when the basics are there, when stuff like that is there. But if you start seeing
we got to know that
losing the locker room,
especially when you have another 10 weeks of football left.
Well, it's also especially when you're probably bringing in a brand new quarterback and stuff this offseason. And you want to have some continuity for the next guy. He goes on to say, no one was happy about the result. I think we have a strong group. We need to have a strong group in this league. There's a lot of ups and downs. Unfortunately, we've had more downs. But our guys will come back, we'll regroup, and we'll do everything we possibly can like we do each week to be at our best on Monday night. Which is just scary to hear, by the way, guys, because we all know Daniel Jones' primetime record. Yeah. Not to ruin our pick show already for next week. He doesn't do good in prime time. Deonte Banks was also asked about. He said, and this was specifically the play I talked about. This is the one where Jalen Hurts was scrambling after almost getting sacked by Matthew Adams. He said, I really just thought he was going to slide or whatever, but it was a bad play by me, bad effort by me. I think I could have made it. I play this game because I love this blank. Sometimes you get frustrated out there when blank not going your way. That's me just letting the emotions get the best of me. Yeah. I mean, he kind of called himself out a little bit on the effort part by saying that.
So then you have to also sit there and think was he really pulling the punches because, if you will, because he thinks, he should pull the punches just because, he's upset? Or was that true? Was his statement true? Did he think, Hurts is going to slide? Because that's another thing too. You got to think about the whole sliding thing and roughing the passer. If they don't go feet first, and if they go feet first,
it was okay to hit him because he was already in the positive. It wasn't a roughing the passer kind of scenario at that point. There's no pass being
You're
done.
right.
Scrambling is an active runner. So you can
You're
hit
right.
him,
But
you
so,
can
but
go
as soon
like
as you
that.
go into the slide as a quarterback, you cannot be touched. So I
Yeah,
could get
so
that.
he's going to
There's
slide.
been,
Yeah, but he hadn't gone to a slide yet.
well, that's
Now,
what I'm saying.
you
That's
can
if
make
you
the
think
case.
if you think it's going to happen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like he says he thinks like he thought he was going to go to the slide,
Yeah.
and he didn't get aggressive.
Yeah, and you can make the case that, okay, well, maybe he thought he was going to go out of bounds because that's a possibility. I feel like we look at this as fans in slow motion, like, oh, I can see this is how it played out. Like, no, why don't you watch it live from a helmet view and see if you can figure out what's going on?
Yeah,
You
and
know,
especially like these guys. Like I don't know, like Drew, how fast you used to run,
not
or
very at all.
yeah.
I
I
ran the
mean,
fastest when there was ice cream around.
me too. I did a 6-minute mile to catch an ice cream truck.
Oh gosh,
These
I broke. Okay, I broke 8
and that
minutes
was
once ever, and at the
and that
mile,
was also about
that was the best thing ever.
50 something pounds ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying these guys are way faster. Like 6-minute mile is pretty fast, but like even like a 7-minute mile, 8-minute mile, like that's pretty fast, especially long distance. But when you start talking about these guys that are running 4.4 and a 40, like
Yeah.
things are happening really
I might
fast.
run a 14.4. But my whole thing is he brought up the word effort, which makes me think that it is an effort issue. And I'd love to be able to sit here and be like, oh, this is the advice of what I would do if I was Brian Dable. I don't think that's fair for us to do because we don't know these guys personally. Anybody who's ever been in any kind of management role, I mean, that's what being the head coach is. You're a manager, basically.
The GM.
You have to know.
Team.
Well, not the GM. He's the
yeah.
He's the manager like that. It's like the store manager, basically. If this was like a retail job kind of thing,
Yeah.
But it's like you have to know people's personalities to know how to address them to fix these kind of issues. So it's impossible to give any kind of advice. As much as I'd love to say, okay, this is what I would do this there. I don't know, because I don't know what Banks' personality is really like. I just know what he shows in front of the microphone. But I will say this again: you let this spread, that's going to be an issue. You let this spread, and you're looking at Mike Kafka being the coach by the end of the year.
Ooh.
I don't know who they give it to. I don't think they give it to Bowen. But I just think this.
Well, you got to figure this way. Our offense has not been high powered in quite some time, but our defense has been pretty well. And everyone thought this defense wouldn't work with that Wink, but this defense has played way better.
Yep.
Not arguably, but it has. It just has played way better with that Wink.
Yeah, 100%.
So you look at that, and especially in the NFL, what have you done for me recently? Best man for the job, best person for the job. So
yeah, I just don't see him doing it for a guy who's really a first year being a full-time defensive coordinator, because he was really under Rabel before that. I don't know how much I want to count that. He learned from him, obviously. He's doing well. I'm not trying to knock the guy. I'm just saying he doesn't necessarily have the experience. Mike Kafka has been somebody who's been interviewed for multiple head coaching positions. He's a guy that's respected in the league like that. But hopefully we don't have to worry about this. This conversation's for not.
Respected enough to get an interview. Not so much respected enough to get a head coach.
How many interviews does Shane Bowen had?
Well, just like you said, obviously he has. This is the
first time in
there. I hear what you're saying, but also when you're an offensive coordinator that's applying for promotion, has not gotten that promotion, and then your duties as an offensive coordinator gets taken away from you because an inept offense of your job happening.
That's working out well.
Listen,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Are we better or worse than last year?
Kind of like it is. All right.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.